Now I want to show you something because a lot of people don't realize how early we still are with Bitcoin. So I'm gonna put the all-time chart up because I want people to see this. So let's look at the last cycle, right? As we look at 2017, in 2017, I did some research over the weekend, a lot of research, because a lot of people was asking me, why hasn't Bitcoin got to 200, 300, 400, 500 by now? Why are things so slow? Why hasn't altcoin season, in which all the altcoins start to go up after Bitcoin's rise, why hasn't it happened yet? There's a simple explanation, is that we were very early in Bitcoin achieving all-time highs this cycle. And that was pushed by the ETFs, that was pushed by institutional investors, that was pushed by the banks, the elite and the rich, understanding what Bitcoin was and buying it up. Now, people say, why do I talk about Bitcoin so much? It's because Bitcoin is the driver of the market. It always has been. Bitcoin moves up first, the second coins come up later. It's called altcoin season. So for us to see XRP reach the peaks that it's gonna reach, Bitcoin has to drive that market. XRP, Ethereum, Solana, all of these coins that we love are not gonna reach their peaks if Bitcoin is held down because it's the market driver. Same thing happens, like for example in AI. We have Palantir, we have SoundHound, which is gonna do extremely well over the next 6 months. Make sure you listen, I'll talk about SoundHound at the end, but SoundHound is undervalued severely in comparison to all the other AI stocks. In comparison to Palantir, in comparison to NVIDIA, it has so much potential from where it's at now. We'll talk about that later though. But do you remember what DeepSeek did to AI? All AI stocks fell. It was a temporary thing. It was an overreaction. It was a panic, but all AI stocks went down because it was a threat to the chiefs of AI, NVIDIA. It was because they use actually cheaper NVIDIA chips. It was a threat to OpenAI. So everything fell. So the person or the company or the organization or the asset at the top. So if Bitcoin does not do what it's supposed to do this cycle, we can forget about XRP, at least in the short term. We can forget about Ethereum, at least in the short term. We can forget about Solana. We can forget about all these meme coins, which I don't agree with, but people still trade it, because if Bitcoin doesn't go up, nothing else is gonna work. So we have to focus on what Bitcoin is doing. We have to focus on analyzing Bitcoin, and we gotta predict where Bitcoin is going over the next few months, or the next few years. We have to do that in order for all of our other coins to go to where they're supposed to go. But let's take a look, because I want you guys to remember how early we are and why altcoin season has not happened as of yet. Now, if we look at Bitcoin's chart, we're at 97,000, right? We got the all-time chart right here, so I want to show you something. Is that December 4th, 2000, remember that Bitcoin has went through three halvings. The first one was around 2013. Now, Bitcoin reached its all-time high at 1,100 during that cycle, right? So Bitcoin then went through a 70% retraction, and 80%, I think it was almost 90% that cycle. It may have been 80, 90%. And when that happened, it took 1,177 days to recover. Almost, what is that, I think it's 4 years almost? Almost 3.5 years to recover. We move on to the halving in 2016. During that year, Bitcoin, at the end of 17, Bitcoin reached its high of right under $20,000, which was $19,500, roughly $19,500. And we can see that here, right? Bitcoin took another 1,096 days to reclaim that high. So then we move on to this last halving, right? Is that in 2024, the halving that we just went through. Bitcoin reclaimed its highs before that, before the halving. So it took Bitcoin this time from where it was before to where it ended up passing all-time highs again, or sustaining all-time highs. It was 837 days. That puts us on average 200 days ahead of where we should have been. 100 days. That gives us an additional 6 months. So it reclaimed its all-time high in March. It reclaimed its all-time high, March. So we got April, May, June, July, August, September. That September was when Bitcoin should have, around that time, reclaimed its all-time highs.